Hello, hello everybody. How you all doing? All right, everybody. How is everyone doing? You guys are complaining I'm late. I have some story, a heartbreaking, tragic story that just had happened, and obviously I'm being very cynical when I say it. I mean, I'm being unnecessarily dramatic. I had a beautiful steak, beautiful, the most beautiful, like gorgeous, good, steak, and I overcooked it, and it is well done. So, R.I.P. steak. I'm sharing my pain with y'all. The steak deserved better. I always say if you kill a cow once, it's reasonable, it's understandable. But if you kill the cow twice by overcooking and choosing well done instead of medium at most, it's like twice, sir. Wasn't once enough? Wasn't once enough? It's like, it's like, can you not respect the sacrifice? And so, it is what it is. It is what it is. So, of course, let's start sharing today's theme. I know I promised I talk about Britain, but since then Paris decided to burn itself down because, unfortunately, the meme is in Hebrew for some reason. So, it says the illusion of free will, and there is a cow here. Maybe it was the cow I just violated with my unintended, with like looking away, being not paying attention, and it might be the same cow. We don't know, but I'm guessing it's not because like that's a milk cow, it's not a steak cow. It's like a anyway. So there is the illusion of free choice, free will, and it says Paris Saint-Germain is winning, Paris Saint-Germain is losing, and you think that you choose a different path depends on whether or not Paris Saint-Germain loses or wins. But no matter what you choose, Paris will burn. You win, Paris burned. You lose, Paris burned. And while Paris is burning, Macron, of course, is trying to save his business with Hezbollah in Lebanon, or some other, like I need to fix my glasses. Whatever he is doing in Lebanon. The French have a very interesting kind of relation with Lebanon, which is we colonized it, and therefore it's ours, and we can torture it, we can tie it down, we can let it burn, as long as it stays under our influence, whether it is real or just delusional thinking, as if you have any influence at all anywhere. How about like Mali? What about your assets in Mali? How about protect them from Islamists or something? No, but of course, I guess with Hezbollah it's just like they can share 50-50. But no more. Now they're gonna have to share France with It's like, I guess the terms and conditions they say, is it 50-50 on Lebanon or is it 50-50 on France? And so France has called for an emergency session of the UN Security Council on the situation in Lebanon. I believe it is time for us to try to bring peacekeeping into Paris. Maybe if we get it to be just as effective as the French war in Lebanon. Yeah, it's gonna be the end of France. It's like, how do you say it? Vengeance, revenge, best served cold. What goes around comes around. karma is a a lot of many ways to describe this situation, you all. A lot of different ways to describe the situation we are in at. So let's get inspired a little bit by while not putting the sound on, so that YouTube wouldn't silence us again. So this is some footage. The way you know that it is in fact Paris is by this weird pharmacie pont. You know, if you read the signs, it's French, so that's how you know, basically, I guess. And French cars. Yeah, it's Renault. I see a Renault. I don't know what that is, but like you see, they all look like basically like a metal sheet, a thin metal sheet that was shaped into a car by somebody punching it. And you know it's gonna break down in like a month. Yeah, that's how those cars look like. So that's another indication. That's how we also know it's France and Paris. What else? How else? What are the? You guys, I'm trying to fix it. Okay, I'm trying to fix my glasses. Just imagine it's not crooked. Also, ignore the fact I'm wearing the same T-shirt I wore yesterday. Okay, thank you. I wanted to change it, but then I forgot. You know, it was like I smelled it. It didn't smell. I was like, okay, I can wear it again. But then I forgot that I'm pretending that I change clothes every day when I go live. But now you know. I'm, you know. Now you know I killed a cow twice. Now you know. You guys know way too much about me. In fact, I think I should keep my life private more. There should be more distance, you know. Maybe I should be sitting here like wearing dark glasses. You know, in the army, we used to have this philosophy where it's called distance, in which you don't know anything about your commanders. And we also had it with the training group that we had when I was in high school. And yeah, you're right. You know it's Paris because they all say the famous French idiom, Allahu Akbar. Anyway, so I was being very, you know, trying to figure out. So distance, I was trying to tell you a story now. I remember. So I also we had like a training group when I was in high school, and we had a trainer, and this entire year we didn't know anything about the trainer. Does he have a girlfriend? Does he not? What's his nothing? Does he like chocolate? Nothing, because you keep distance. This is like we call it distance, and then we like breaking distance and trying to figure out oh my God, what commander had a boyfriend, has a girlfriend, what, you know, all the Jews. It's like, this is like the goal is like, and the commanders are like making sure you know, and even if they have some soldiers have people in common or are even family of the commanders. So what they usually do is that they send family members to threaten the soldier to not tell anything about them and stuff like that. It's like they listen. They don't stop in it by any means, right? They use dirty methods like calling the moms of the soldier and saying that if the soldier is gonna make their work impossible, then it's gonna be very, very not family like. You know, you have anyway, yeah, that's keeping distance. And clearly I was, you are right. Listen, I'll you know what they say, instead of keeping distance today, we can start tomorrow. And from tomorrow on, you're gonna know nothing about me. In fact, I'll be the most perfect person that you know. You know, from tomorrow on, I'll be like, I start wearing makeup again, and I'll change my shirts every day, and I'm gonna have a new microphone, and I'm not gonna have moments where it's like awkward silence because my mic is not working. I'm gonna have a perfect opening, and All my steaks would be always like perfectly cooked from tomorrow, starting tomorrow. So yes, so this is very exciting. The ancient Crusader fortress in South Lebanon is no longer in the hands of the Iran's jihadi proxy. Israeli and Golani flags are flying over Bufot fortress in southern Lebanon. Yeah. Oh, and there are birds as well celebrating. Let's start again. Let's make it big. Actually, let's properly enjoy this beautiful monument being at the hands of like good human beings, like you know, the good human beings being the Jews. You see, this is beautiful footage. Macron already got, like, this is the fun part, right? You, Shirley, you are so correct that Macron, he would 100% get a heart attack for this and not for the fact that Paris is burning down. You know, it's like 100% like Macron, like seeing this will make him flip and maybe go through a stroke, a heart attack, and whatever, like stomach ache or like a panic attack or asthma attack, everything that is possible he would go through. Watching Paris burn, nothing. Maybe popcorn. And be like, oh, the kids are playing again, you know, like those neglective parents. And you see their kids running around, like trying to stab each other in the background, and you're trying to warn them, and then the parents are like, oh, they're just playing. This is Macron looking at his backyard. It's like, oh, the kids are playing. It's like, you know, sometimes you know, it's normal. It's normal. But this, no. The Jews putting their flag on my on one of the monuments that one of the things I think I have control over because I'm delusional. Well, too bad. Time to face reality. You know, like clean your backyard because you did a terrible job in Lebanon. Honestly, like God knows. So it is what it is, you know. It's a very beautiful footage. Everybody's celebrating the birds. It might have looked a bit different before, but you know, look. Now I want to go visit. How soon do you think until I can go visit? I really do think it's gonna be a great advantage if I can go visit the thing, you know. It's I believe. Let's see what it says. IDF seizes the Belfour Ridge in Lebanon. The IDF says it has launched a large-scale operation in the Belfour Ridge and Saluki River in southern Lebanon. According to report, Israeli forces crossed the Litani River. Woohoo! I say, you know what, like Lebanon, like let's be honest, Lebanon is part of Canaan. Canaan is Israel. Like we don't need the Shiites. They occupy the entire south. So like let them go. I mean, oh my God. Like listen, I feel like I'm 100% gonna wanna have a Elsa moment in that Balfour declaration. Like I feel like this is what it's made for, right? I think we 100% should go and be like, time to go. This is ours now. Bye you all. You know, something. How high it is, I have no idea. But I will check before I go there and start singing like it's my castle from Elsa. Yeah, it's exactly. This is This is 100%. This is a Jewish land. By the way, listen. is it not the most important thing in the world to allow me more places to which I can go to and sing let it go, let it go? Or like, I mean, it's time to let the Shiite people go. Let the Shiite go, let them go. It's like, it's time to the pharaohs to let them go. Let them go. Let them go somewhere. I don't know. Like maybe to you. I mean, the Iranians, all they do, they shoot the Iranians in the street. They probably are. Like half of them got annihilated by Israel, and the other half is busy shooting Iranians right now. I mean, I think actually, I think they are still in Lebanon. I think that the Iranians decided to bring the Iraqis and the Afghans this time around, to shoot their own people in the street. But I don't know, why do we need to have neighbors who have such a shady job? Like they're either, they either send rockets towards Israel and make money out of terrorism and basically robbing the Druze and the Christians and the Lebanese people, or they and also getting funds from like Iran and stuff like. So it's Iranian proxy. All they do is shoot rockets and also grow drugs and basically it's time to go. It's time to liberate the land for just let people. I think people is good enough of a description. That's like why like I think we already established. It's like the people say things about Jews, whether it's true, whether or not. I think it's okay. If people say, oh, the Jews think they're superior, you know what? Like, who am I to say to argue? You know what? Maybe we are superior. We are. It's very easy to see. It's easy to see. How many Israelis do you know are currently like running around the world shooting people in the street for like foreign governments? Don't know. How many of them are? I mean, there are some that are involved with everything. Just for the record, okay. But like in such an industrial, like how many? What Israeli mafia organization, crime organization, of which we do have too many of. Like how many of them can claim to be the biggest organized crime terrorism network in the world, that the way Hezbollah does? Like they're the number one in drug dealerships around the world. So it's like we walk down the path of humility, no matter how many human traffickers, drug traffickers, crime families, assholes we generate, or like people who just go around and shoot people in the street in different countries. Even if we have several of them, we must stay humble and remember that Hezbollah, we can't even compare. We cannot compare. We just, it's very important. This path of humility, ever since I've learned that option exists, really humbles me to understand that, no matter how much we might be awful, we cannot compare. And therefore, it's time to clean. And also what Hezbollah member is gonna go out there and sing Let It Go the way I plan to. Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So the goal here is the fun part. Let's see if the IDF and Rebecca, we are aligned in our understanding of why I should be allowed to go there, sing Let It Go. And that is a good enough reason to make the castle Jewish. Let's see what kind of IDF, what is their thinking in doing so. I mean, sometimes our goals don't completely align. I'm gonna be honest. I tend to think about myself, and for some reason the IDF tends to think about Israel. Well, But as an Israeli, I'm included in this, so I can, it's step number one. Then the second, after Israel, it's like the specific Israeli inside of Israel. One step at a time. It's okay. It's okay. All right, so before ground forces entered, the Israeli Air Force carried out heavy strikes on Hezbollah infrastructure backed by artillery and tank fire. Why put Hezbollah infrastructure here? I don't know. The goal, according to the IDF, strengthen operational control in southern Lebanon and remove direct threat to the Galilee, Panhandle, and Metula. This is not just another tactical move. Buffer Ridge is one of the most symbolic and strategic points in southern Lebanon, overlooking critical terrain and carrying deep military history from Israel's previous wars in Lebanon. Also, it's an awesome place to sing. Let them go! Send them to the hell they belong. Something like this. I need to work on the lyrics. And of course, I think the way I sang it, there is no way I'm gonna get copyright strike from YouTube. It's very important to remember, because if you sing it just a little bit on key for about a second, you're gonna get your video demonetized with any song. So I think I did the best that I could to make sure nobody be oh, there is no way this awfulness is somehow, it's close enough, but not close enough, you know what I'm saying? Also, I can't sing, so. This is a more beautiful footage that I want to share with you all here. So this is the first IDF tank crosses the Litani. Footage from captured. Beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful! Look at this soldier. Just passing. Just passing. So pretty. By the way, this those soldiers that walk in front of the tank, it used to be my brother's job in the army. But I think ever since he became a reservist, lately, he was taught a new skill and he does something different now. That has to do with drones. So, but I remember because he was in the tank brigade, but he was in the Parsal. And when I asked him what do, he told me we basically walk before the tank. So they just walk before the tank. Maybe that's what my brother was doing. I honestly, my brother did not do a good job to try to explain to slow me what exactly it is that he did. It's a beautiful sight. Beautiful. Look at this beautiful thing. And I love it that the tanks get the respect they deserve. The tanks are the men in the tank. It's so important that they get the respect that they deserve. There you go. Did you say that my brother is a doggo? My brother is like the dog, What wasn't it isn't there a slang like that, It's like yo dog or whatever. I don't know. Men are weird. Don't ask me. Men are weird. There is a beautiful image here from Paris. And I just know that showing it to you is gonna get me in trouble, for sure. So I'll show it to you, and I say this is all fake. It's fake news. It's AI generated. Okay, YouTube. I'm just kidding. It's not AI generated, but this is Paris. Is it really Paris like that? What the? It's I-24 news, so probably. They don't like it's so I don't know what do I say to YouTube. YouTube, what we are seeing right now is modern art. It's a modern art exhibition. You know, it's like this is like it's a outside a museum, and what they're doing is redefining and exploring like the limits on the Jewish on the not the Jewish on the on human mind, right? Like they are exploring what it is that we humans can do through art that looks extremely realistic, but it's not. It's just a outside modern art museum, and it's 100% like just for exploring what human nature is like what is possible, what we might do, what we can do, what we cannot do. You know, it's just like like exactly like it is Paris, it is the city of lights. It's all like you know, don't censor this art, please. It's just an artistic exhibition, like it's truly authentic modern art exhibition, museum, like outside museum situation in Paris. Yes. So don't demonetize me, please. Please don't. You know. This also like this, you know, Franz Nietzsche Bukela. This is like hyperbolic, artistic speech that checks the limits of human expression and free speech by saying something that like it's all part of the art exhibition, modern art thing that we are exploring here. So I know the system might think it's something that is problematic to show, but in fact it is 100% just art and expression of art. Thank you. Please, YouTube. It's very important that we understand that going forward. In fact, like all of my videos are just art. Yes. Like just look at me. There is no way like a cute, naive looking person like me is not just exploring art, you know?
הלילה הלוחמים הגיבורים שלנו כבשו את מוצב הבופור. הם הניפו שם בגאווה.
And when it says here that like 8,000 Hezbollah were eliminated, and we are moving forward by taking over the ground and making sure that nobody can use a geographical advantage against Israel, it's all like this is like a simulation, right? It's like what would happen if we apply in the modern world some middle ages logic, like, you know, the high ground actually matters in war and stuff like that. And if somebody like wants to come and challenge you to a duel, then one must walk out alive and the other must walk out less alive because of middle ages, medieval honor rules, which it's and everything we're just watching right now. We're talking about like it's just like an experiment, saying what if we pretend that this logic actually might work in today's world as well, because just maybe humans didn't evolve. Maybe it's like, you know, it's very important that we simulate things, you know.
הלילה הלוחמים הגיבורים שלנו כבשו את מוצב הבופור. הם הניפו שם בגאווה את דגל מדינת ישראל ואת דגל חטיבת גולני. אני מזכיר לכם שלפני 44 שנים המקום הזה היה סמל לקרב גבורה הירואי של לוחמינו, אבל גם היה סמל למחלוקת.
But do you guys want me to read as we go? I think I'll read it. So somebody here thinks that I'm on the internet 24/7. I let you know that I wish. Believe me, if I were, my actual lives would start on time. The problem is that I'm not. And most of the time I'm like, oh crap, I have no idea what happened today 5 minutes before the live starts. Like I see something during noon, and not noon, but like during the afternoon, I often like look at things and I'm like, oh, I see what's happening around the world. And then by the time I need to go live, I realize a lot of other things that happened and I have no idea what's gonna. So I'm just saying, like, I wish I were more on top of things. So believe me. Yeah. Thank you, Plumjacks, for your super chat and support. You guys be like Plumjacks. Without your support, I cannot do what I do. By the way, you guys, I know you guys remember my questioning project. You guys remember my plan against the Muslim Brotherhood. I'm telling you now that I'm working on it, and there are a lot of things that, things that I will update you on as we go. But, things behind the scenes, things take time. They take time. So I don't forget you. I don't forget you, you sweet guys that live outside in Israel and are like, oh my God, how am I supposed to defend myself from the lunatics in the street as they roam around in Paris? And you're like, why is Israel allowed to defend itself? Well, Israel is not allowed to defend itself. It just has the knowledge on how to do so, and has a lot of knowledge on how to deal with certain elements and how to make people more aware, like, less confused about their identity and stuff, as well as a lot of, like innovation and things like that. I remember you all. I remember you. So my plan to make that accessible to you all never changed. And I know that with the way I talk and the way I structure things is too complicated for the average Joe. Because no matter how much I'm trying to communicate to the world that I'm not so smart and stuff like that, the feedback that I get is that I fail miserably. And it takes a lot of IQ to sound smart, and also like be understood, which I don't. I don't know how it works. Honestly, so it is what it is. Just saying, I never forget you. Walking on it. Alright, I'm just gonna read the caption as we talk. And please, no slander. You guys, I work hard for you all.
הלילה הלוחמים הגיבורים שלנו.
Wait, is it too loud? Or is it just me? Like, who is louder? Oh, I think I can tell actually. By looking.
כבשו את מוצב הבופור.
Yeah, that's okay.
הם הניפו שם בגאווה את דגל מדינת ישראל.
Maybe like this. No, but it's too loud for me.
אני מזכיר לכם שלפני 44 שנים המקום הזה היה סמל לקרב גבורה.
So we went tonight. Our heroic soldiers captured by the Buford outpost.
הם הניפו שם בגאווה את דגל מדינת ישראל.
And we put our flag and we're proud. You see, like unlike see in the UK, you can go to the middle of London and actually show the UK flag and feel like and not feel that much pride, because people just look at you and throw rotten tomatoes at you and stuff like that. I even saw a video from Portugal where a dude came and just had the Portuguese flag, and he got shamed and attacked and been called racist in the street by random passersby. So what we are seeing is, for example, that Israel here and the prime minister declares how they went to another country, a neighboring country, and put the flag on a monument, right? A historical monument with pride. And I know, and the funny thing is that for most Israelis, they look at this and they say, this is what everybody does, right? Like, this is what people do. It's what people like. It's like every nation in the world is allowed to do so. So we are allowed to do so too, right? Like why is France? Why is the Macron's nose is so deep into the Lebanese Hezbollah rectum? Like, why is it there? It's because this is how the French put the flag. Right? They put the pole of the flag in Lebanon, and but they are very proud to do so. So we are also putting a pole on the hill. So it's normal. It's what everybody does, right? So Israelis are like, we do this. It means that we are normal because this is what every nation does. But surprise. Do you know how hard it was on October 7th to try to explain to Israelis that woke actually exists and DEI exists, and I didn't make it up because they thought I was making stuff up because there is no way that exists. And so, and therefore, it's very important to demonstrate how you go from using your nose as a pole inside someone else's rectum, like Macron does with the Ayatollahs and Hezbollah, to actually using your national flag and being proud of it. And you're defending your people from idiots. And by the way, everything I just said is an expression of like modern art. Like it's French modern art explained. French modern art versus like Israeli medieval inspired modern art. So yeah, they proudly raised the flag of the state, and I remind you that 44 years ago this place was a symbol of heroic battle fought by our soldiers, but it was also a symbol of a deep internal division among us. Today we returned to the battlefield differently. We returned united, determined, and stronger than ever. I spoke with the soldiers on the northern border on Friday. And they said, tell the people of Israel what we're doing here. Prime Minister, the public does not know what achievements we have. Well, since the beginning of the war of revival, we have eliminated 8,000 Hezbollah fighters, since Roaring Loin 3,000. In the past month alone, 700. That is more than we eliminated during the entire Second Lebanon War. I instructed the IDF to expand and maneuver in Lebanon. Our forces crossed the Litani, they seized the commanding areas, they captured the Beaufort Ridge. And now my directive is to deepen and expand our hold in places that had been under Hezbollah control. The capture of Beaufort is a dramatic stage. It is a dramatic change in the policy we are leading. We broke through the barrier of fear. We are acting on every front in Syria, Gaza, and Lebanon. We established security zones beyond our border. I want to go back a little. It's too fast for me. We established security zones beyond our borders in order to protect our communities. On Friday, we spoke with the brigade command, brave commanders inside the territory leading the heroic soldiers. And they told me, Prime Minister, we are carrying out the mission. We are charging forward and Hezbollah is fleeing for its life. I guess maybe there is like a little bit of advantage of them and the French being in bed together. It's very hard to be friends with somebody and not to get inspired or like become similar to them. So they're fleeing. You guys, the white flag is international. Anyway, and I told them, I'm with you. The entire people of Israel is with you. This will take more time, but we will restore security to the residents of the north, exactly as we did for the residents of the south. Amen. This is a beautiful message. Bye bye, 8,000 Hezbollah. Rats. And I say that like in a medieval modern art in spirit, the thing. Speaking of the worst people, Tom Barak is the worst person. I don't know why Donald J. Trump decided that it made so much sense to change the allegiance of the United States into the Turkish side. The Turkey sucks. And Tom Barak is a Lebanese dude that is basically a Sunni ISIS representative in the Middle East that makes sure to screw up everyone that is a minority and doesn't follow the Ottoman Empire interests. And now Donald Trump said that he is pleased to announce that the United States ambassador to Turkey, Tom Barak, who has done an outstanding job, will be named Special Presidential Envoy to Syria and, likewise, Special Presidential Envoy to Iraq, as we advance our strategic cooperation with the governments of Syria and Iraq. Our relationship with them continues to grow. So basically, it's going to go to Syria and Iraq and expand Turkey into Syria and Iraq. I don't want to say anything, but everybody in Syria and Iraq knows exactly what Tom Barak does, and the fact that he is part of the project of the renewal of the Ottoman Empire. I hope he gets treated accordingly. I hope he gets his nose broken with people slamming the door when he tries to enter. And seriously, Trump already threw all the Kurds under the bus. So I just think that the only appropriate reaction is to slam the door hard into his face. Real hard. And it's not, I don't think it's alright that every people, I think that the Jews are entitled to have a Jewish nose, and other peoples maybe that have too much of a nose should get it trimmed because they're not Jewish. So it's cultural appropriation when they shove their huge ass noses everywhere. So I think, you can't claim Jews have a big nose and then have one yourself. I think it's inappropriate. I think it's called cultural appropriation and racism. It's basically like blackface. I don't care if you were born with it, it's still blackface. So I think that's the only woke solution. Oh, that's beautiful. Tom, so as we advance our strategic cooperation with the governments of Syria and Iraq, our relationship with them continues to grow. Tom will remain ambassador to Turkey. Are you joking, Trump? What's wrong with him? I don't get him. Trump, come on. Trump. And operate with the full backing of the United States Department of State. We greatly appreciate the work that Tom Barak has done and continued willingness to serve our country. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Everybody knows exactly how awful Barak is, and especially the Kurds, which he screwed over a million times. So I hope he gets treated the way he deserves to. And can you believe it's trying to? It wasn't enough that they ethnically cleansed the Kurds from northern Syria. They're trying now to cleanse the Turks, the Kurds out of Kurdistan. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know, I get it. The Iranians should have their territorial integrity. I just don't think that Kurdistan has anything to do with the Iranian integrity, Iranian territorial integrity of anyone. So just let them be, you assholes. Just let Kurdistan be. Honestly, they don't give any about any of you all. So just let them be peaceful and live their lives. And you know, it's like, and if you come to mess with them, I hope they mess with you back. They like, listen, they have nothing to lose. I don't know anyone who got screwed more by Trump than the Kurds. And I can say a lot of things about the Kurds and them blah 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 and them being this and being them and them being that. But they didn't do anything where they deserve it. They literally did nothing. Except like not supporting the Yazidis properly, maybe. Oh! Rebecca, I have news in Tehran. There was a shootout between armed forces. Congratulations! Is there anything on X we can to support? This is not interesting. Yeah, meanwhile in Paris, what is this? Blech. This is a... oh, look, the most ugly flag in the world was just... I see it. I see it. Okay, let's go see what's in Iran. Let's get updated. Israel will never have peace. So, okay, so you guys need to understand the reason why Israel and Jews and Hebrew celebrates peace so much, why we say shalom, peace, as hello, is because the geographical position of Israel means that it is almost impossible for us, geography speaking, and the land is, you know, the land is queen, Mother Earth is queen. Because of our actual like positioning, it's almost impossible to have peace in this area. So every time there was peace for a decade or even like 80 years, which is like the longest period of peace in the Bible, it was celebrated as like, and there was peace for 80 years, which is incredible. Like it takes a lot for somebody who is literally, like for a country built in the bridge road between, like the corridor between Asia, Africa, and Europe. It's crazy to have a moment of peace. So I'm telling you, like, we're not gonna have peace. We're just gonna have time to breathe a little bit more, maybe. Okay, I'll try to find what's happening in Iran. Does anyone have anyone? Do you guys know who talks about it right now? Maybe we can share. Or are there any news on Iran? What's happening in Tehran? Even though like, I guess like a little bit more of modern art is not gonna change much, right? Like more modern art. Hello from Texas. This is a cute photo. Pete Hegseth condemns IDF for capturing Crusader Fortress in Lebanon. I didn't really get it. Did they actually say anything about it? And this is Pezeshkian trying to get out of the system before it collapses. Sounds like Iran is... By the way, that's the thing, right? Like, oh! Did he? Wait, is it true? Is it true? Is it true? Okay, let me just entertain you with random thoughts while I try to gather some information on what's going on in Iran. Oh, by the way, before I do that, maybe just roasting the French a little bit more, like Marc Lavina did here, is required. I met with the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, Omani Sultan Haytham bin Tariq, Emirati President Mohammed bin Zayed, and the Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. All of them delivered the same message. It is essential that the agreement between the United States and Iran will be reached quickly. This opportunity must be seized now. Like, I mean, I'm sorry, but this comment, like this reaction saying, how about save your own country, genius, is so, like, he's basically asking for it. Like, a new star shines over Paris. Bravo to the Passage for making all the Europe dream France proud while they're burning down everything. Like, and teenage boys celebrating the win by vandalizing cars and sexually assaulting the female passengers. All modern art. YouTube. Modern art outside museum in Paris. It's a new brand format, which is it's all the rage right now. It's super in fashion. It's super in vogue. Like, it's super vogue. Please respect fashion. AI. Thank you. You know, import cat. I understand what you're trying. Import cat. You understand what you're saying, trying to say with Macron having some relations with the Iranians. But so does. I mean, but the German. What about the Germans? The Germans also like have the same position and act the same way and basically side. I mean, what did we learn? Nazis side with Nazis, you know. It is what it is. Anyway, and what changed actually? Like, what changed? You know what? The only thing that happened, all those years we were living in a delusion that Europe is like, you know, respects human rights and understands humanity and learns something from trying to annihilate and like doing genocides left and right and paying and making like colonies pay with arms and legs and stuff like that. Like, with like for years it looked like, okay, now it's no more, it's in the past, they're changed people, like all they do is like eat a croissant. And they even if Switzerland was like, listen, we even get like in 1971, we're like, you know, we are a true democracy. We even give voting rights to the creature that is half a human called woman. But apparently this whole time it was just, you know, a mirage. It was a fake. Because somebody asking me, and your people are without sin. Sir, you know what's the funny part here about, okay, are the Jews not without sin? Are the Americans not without sin? And I'm gonna say Europe, not British. The Britain, I'm gonna separate them because the Brits are in the same, do not deserve the same amount of anything as the Germans or the French or the Dutch, or, you know. Even you can claim like there are like like you can even say like France, like Belgium more than France, maybe, you know, you can argue whatever you want. But claiming that we are sinless as Americans, Brits, or Jews, and saying that as an argument on why we cannot criticize the Europeans, is the same amount of Okay, how do I explain it? Let me explain it. Okay. Let me explain. Okay. So, let's say morality. Okay, morality. Okay. I do this. Wait. It's very important. Okay, morality. Is it? I hope it's the right way. Can you read it, or do I need to like flip the camera or something? I have no idea. Wait, I need to make it a mirror, or does it work? Let me see. Okay, so let's say morality scale. So you have, let's say you, for the sake of like making life easier, let's say the Jews, Brits, and then Americans. Okay, this is one moral scope. Okay, very beautiful. Now, distance, D equal distance. And then we put here the France, Germany, Italy. By the way, do you guys know who the Romans hated the most? Who the Romans thought were the worst when it comes to like during the Roman Empire? It was the Celts and the Jews, right? We're seeing a theme here. So the Romans thought the Celts and the Jews are the worst because they had morality, while the Romans thought that gladiators is a completely normal form of entertainment. Okay, so if that's the distance between the morality of these groups of people and the Europeans, okay, then you get the Euro, and I'm saying like for approximation, the D between them and Islam. I would say it's the same D, okay? Same, equal. Let's even do it D1, D2, okay? Yes, so let's add Spain here. Spain, just for the beauty, Spain. You're right, okay. So D1, D2. Now, let's see, what is the, how far is the distance? I would claim that D1 equals D2. And I feel as a computer engineer that I need to do twice the equal sign, so nobody would think it's like a insert. No, it's like it's the same. So what I'm trying to say is that if you think that we Jews, Brits or Americans cannot criticize the Europeans because they have very low levels of morality, and by the way, same with Japan. Okay, Japan also same here. And then here, right? You can say that here in the middle you have like Russia, China, places like you have in the middle, okay, somewhere in between. So if we cannot criticize Europe cannot criticize Islam because it's the same distance of levels of morality. Do you understand? Understood? do you get it? It's very, very, very simple. So I can even try to write it more pretty for you, just in case you guys need to see it again. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, I'll just clean it up and try to write it so it is more easy to understand. Okay. So because it's very, very important, okay? Because if you tell us, oh, are you without sin? It means that the Muslims can come to you and ask the same question and say, are you without sin? And let's be honest, you bunch of Nazis have a lot of sins. And not only that, you to this day, the French, let's see what the French do. The French and Hezbollah are the same people, and they also lick the ass of the Ayatollahs, while the Ayatollahs shoot the people of Iran. So as we can tell, so let's make it clear again, okay? Okay. Now, the thing with the Jews, the Brits, and the Americans, their kind of immorality stems from them getting tired from handling the shit of the world. Okay, because they are the minority. And think about the Jews started completely alone, and then the Brits entered the game and also tried the morality. But of course, the elites in Britain are French, which a lot of people ignore. So this is why people are like, oh, why is Britain so weird? It's because the elite came from France, and the French suck. Okay, that's why. And like it's so you get like an average between the Brits, which are good people, and the French, which are bad people. You get the average when it comes to the elite in Britain. So understood? I hope so. Okay. So. Now I know there are a lot of places I ignored, but like just for the for simplicity it is. So do we understand? So what happens? So what happens like when do Jews, British, like Americans like slack on morality? When they get fucking tired. When they're tired, it's easy. It's hard to be like the only people who have morality. I'm sorry. It is. So you have morality, okay? Morality, which I hope I'm spelling right. Okay, so you have again Jews, Brits. Then you got Americans. But like, I'll write USA. I save some space. Okay, and I'm making it like I'm trying to make it like so that everybody understands, and I feel like Armin right now, like Armin Navabi right now. Okay, I feel like it so much. And by the way, like for the record, I'm talking about individuals in those countries as well. Okay, like I tell you that the Europeans are awful people on average, really they are. Okay, and I can explain it to you like one by one. We can go example by example. On average, okay? The ones that come here are an exception, I know that. But in general, not good people. Anyway, so this is one from Europe, okay? Europe. And then distance from, why does it take so much room? D2. No, I need to make the distance smaller so it fits. Yeah, obviously not everyone, but I'm telling you, like, I need to show you some funny footage about Israelis in Europe, talking about how often they find themselves like friends with Arabs, because the Arabs have easier time accepting them and than the Europeans do. Like I saw like this reel. Being an Israeli in Europe is like being friends with Abdallah from Saudi Arabia, because Martin from Ireland would not speak with you again. It doesn't speak to you. So you cannot apply it to individuals. So it's just that like people in the Middle East in general, like they're Arabs and stuff, like they tend to be extreme. It's either they're extremely good people or they are like the most awful savages ever. And I'm not talking about the Palis, because the Palis are all awful. Except for maybe 3. I don't know what's going on there, but on average, okay? I want the distance to be the same. Europe is too, I just, instead I say Euro. And then I can keep the Islam. Okay? And then D1 equals, okay? And how do, yes, this, okay? This is a true statement, okay? If you test it, it's true. Okay, understood? So if Europeans are saying, oh, but are you with no sin, when they're trying to judge Jews, Brits, or the United States of America, they need to keep in mind that it means that they cannot judge Islam anymore, because the distance of the morality is equal between us. Okay, do you understand? So if you want to keep the ability to defend your asses from the Islamic invasion, you need to also be ready to accept the fact that you are not the best moral. Nothing. Thank you. And you can see that with a lot of elements, okay? Now, are there exceptions on the individual level? Yes, of course. But in math, if you cannot do statistics, then so do you understand? So when you ask, are you not without sin? The answer is, you deserve stoning, even though I have many sins. Okay? It's very important. The thing with the woman that sinned, she didn't deserve the stoning. You guys do. So you ask, are you with no sin, when it's actually you can also need to judge the size of the sin, right? Because there are sins and there are sins, So you're saying from the Iranian perspective, what we're getting out of the ground is that Europe can compete, they are jealous of America. I don't think they're jealous. I think they're too delusional to be jealous, being jealous requires a little bit of self-awareness, which they don't usually have much of. For example, Emmanuel Macron here, as he tries to look, how do the agreement between the United States and Iran be reached quickly? What? Where is France here exactly? United States and Iran be reached quickly. I say, give Iran the Strait of Hormuz, but I think the United States should craft a very, very good deal. Here's the deal. Iran, how about that? I give you the Strait of Hormuz, do whatever you want, but no French vessels or anything goes to France can be allowed to pass through. France specifically. And then see how Macron reacts. So, because he cares so much about the agreement being reached quickly, it's clear to me that he doesn't give any consideration to who benefits from certain deals and who doesn't, as long as whatever he wants would be satisfied. And for some reason, he just assumes that whatever deal is signed would benefit him. And I feel like if that assumption stays and is part of the delusion that he suffers from, I think this, it needs to be reconsidered. Oh, I have an idea. Actually, I thought a win-win-win situation. So we tell the Ayatollahs and the Iranian regime that here's the deal. Iran, you killed it. No water, no, the oil wells are closed. Everything is effed. Here's the solution. Take the entire regime to France. France is yours. You can do the same thing you did to Iran in France. And I think that would solve the situation in the Strait of Hormuz. I think the rest of the world can agree. I think and especially I know that there is a movement saying that France sucks and shouldn't So the Ayatollahs and the entire Iranian regime and the IRGC, I believe that the best solution so that an agreement could be reached between the United States and Iran and the Strait of Hormuz will be opened is that we convince them that they can take France and leave the Iranian people alone. The French clearly like them more and would respect them and would be submissive and the thing is like the Iranians, right? The Iranian people, they always fight them. They always like from the get-go they fought against them, and it's like it's not gonna be the same in France. You're gonna get the respect you deserve in France. So I think let me, you know what, I think I can, if I can write it nicely through ChatGPT, I can submit it to the Trump team, and I think finally we might have a solution. I mean, I think it makes 100%, like France here, right? Macron here is willing to sacrifice the lives of Israelis, the lives of Iranians, the lives of Arabs, the lives of Americans, the lives of anyone in the area, the lives of the Kurds, right? Like, and I just, and I thought, but it doesn't, but for sure it means that he is also willing to sacrifice his own, right? There is no way that he is so eager to put Jews, Iranians, like Hindu, like put us all in danger while not also including himself in the sacrifices he's willing to make. For sure, he also meant France is should be able to. So from now on, keep that in mind. This opportunity must seize now. The priority. So it's very important because soon enough the regime in Iran would completely break down, and it's going to be very hard to move them to France. We must seize the opportunity now when there is still enough of a structure so that it would be easy to integrate them into the French bureaucratic system so that they could take over it. Beautiful. I'm starting to say that maybe Macron here, he should have like explained himself better, right? Because he clearly believes that altruism, like the United States and Iran, like the United States should have sacrificed its dignity and economy and submit to France. The United States should submit to the French. It must, and sometimes it's a mistake I've made. I read it and I assumed intentions, and I believe you should not assume intentions, but read things as they're written. And once I took that bias away, right, and I re-examined the text, clearly there is absolutely no way where the United States is expected to submit to the will of the French, right? Beautiful. So yeah, I mean, they brought the Ayatollahs to Iran. It's time to bring back the Ayatollahs to France, right? It makes sense. I'm so sorry to the French that I misjudged you and didn't actually think properly and remember like that you are super altruistic, and just like you gave away your country to Germany, to the Nazis. I mean, and you were friends with them. Clearly, what you meant here is that you are willing to do so again. I truly like I just feel like sometimes like I'm so quick to judge. It's not a good habit, And maybe there is a chance that France can move from here to here. No, here to here probably. Like they like in theory they're gonna move from here to here for about 1 second, and then after this second is over, they're gonna move straight to here. Yes, which makes sense because if, like, they're pretty close. All right. Here you see France stands ready to play its full part. Amazing. Okay, you see, I don't know. It's always good to check yourself first. France stands ready to play its full part. Anyway, let's the priority must be the conclusion of the ceasefire and the immediate reopening of the Strait of Hormuz without any conditions in accordance with international law. I don't know what he just said. I think probably I'm gonna say it like it's automatically, it's translated from French. Probably the French said something that made sense. For sure. They wrote something that is connected to reality, 100%. Like I'm just, Discussions will then need to continue to achieve a comprehensive and robust agreement on other issues, particularly on the nuclear and ballistic programs and regional stability. Actually, that is super important because France has nukes. We really need to take the nukes out of France before the Ayatollahs move there. You see, the Macron thought of everything. You know what? The French are actually saints. They're saints. They're willing to take full responsibility to what they did to Iran. They take back the Ayatollahs. They give away the nuclear weapons before, just, for safety. And ballistics and regional stability. Yes, oh my God. Wow, France. And look, France stands ready to play its full part by helping to resume maritime traffic through the independent multinational mission established with the United Kingdom, by supporting nuclear discussions with its expertise and capabilities. And I mean, yes, you should definitely start cleaning away your arsenal as we speak right now, before the Ayatollahs come to power in France instead of Iran. And by contributing to the necessary establishment of a regional security framework alongside the partners whose protection it has helped ensure in recent months. This is so beautiful. The French are like, Iranians, you're gonna be free. France is willing to take the Ayatollahs to their place. Don't you think the IRGC and the Ayatollahs would agree that France is like a fresh new ground to turn into a desert? They have so much water that they can spend on bullshit. And do you know how green France is, and how much you have like room to turn it to a desert? It's like a beautiful, like untouched playground for you all to ruin. I cannot see how, like, if Mujtaba take the deal. As for regional stability, it must begin with Lebanon. Yes, we do it. No worries. Lebanon we take. No worries. It's on us. We take Lebanon, where it is urgent that the weapons fall silent, all of them, and for good. We will. We're almost there. We take care. No worry. Nothing justifies the major escalation currently underway in southern Lebanon. What escalation? It must be another weird translation from French. France will continue its support for the Lebanese authorities in their efforts to restore state sovereignty and the country's territorial integrity. Well, France speak to me, I'm the new Lebanese Authority. I was fairly elected, like Michel Aoun was. You know, like Michel Aoun was put there by Hezbollah that wasn't elected. I will get elected. I'm elected the same way. Like a foreign, like a military, that like a military power that is in Lebanon decides who's gonna be ruling it. Anyway, I'm the Lebanese authorities, France. So talk to me. Talk to me. I promise to help you. Whatever you want, I help you. So the plan is actually to take like the south of Lebanon, not all of it. But shwaye shwaye, one step at a time. It is what it is. Depends. Depends. Like if it's us or Turkey, then I prefer us. So, like between the two, like because like for the record, when Turkey controlled Lebanon, and nobody talks about it. The Holodomor and the starvation in and the Armenians. Nobody talks about the fact that the Ottoman Empire starved 200,000 Maronites. Like nobody talks about it. So between Israel and I promise that to the Maronites of Lebanon, we will not starve you. So between us and Turkey, choose me. This is my election campaign for Lebanon. So now that I'm now running to rule Lebanon, and I bring and don't worry about the army and stuff like that. The IDF would do this part. So, What is this? 41 seconds ago, 3 hours. The Oblazada. Okay, I don't want. Francis Macron says it's over. We witness unacceptable. What is Clash Report? Isn't like a psyops or something? I feel like Clash Report is some sort of a psyops. Anyway, they're claiming that they everything works fine, and now Paris is calm or whatever. This is not football. I don't like. What's their like? What's like? Don't you think something is weird with the French? Like, what does it have to do? Like, obviously, it's not football. It's just hooligans. I bet most of the people that got outside and did what they did don't even watch soccer. Like, I bet they don't even bother watching soccer. Like, they don't care. Like, this is why it doesn't matter if they lost or won. You just need an excuse. It's just, like there's this, those are ones of like, there's sometimes ways to have like invisible, okay, now you go. This is what it was, right? So it's like the French, for some reason, don't understand it's like a code. So everybody knows that they need to go out and do stuff when they're after a soccer game where like this is part, like it's not that they watch it. It's just that it's like a lot of times, like even through television, they pass some code words so that people know that here's a time to start a military operation, or this is time to start an uprising. So this is that, okay? So it could have been anything. Like, why are they standing there as if it has anything to do with them? Like, am I wrong? Except, of course, they do wear a Qatar shirt, so I guess it's even very much in your face kind of signaling. Okay. Yeah, whatever. Yay! Let's not do this until next time. Why are you gay? Why are you gay? Why are they gay? By the way, you guys know that Cadence Owens is now speaking in Russia, in St. Petersburg, and now she's in Moscow, and it's like talks about how pretty it is. By the way, I've been to St. Petersburg and Moscow, so it's really nice places. Too bad the Russians. You know what's the biggest thing between the Iranians and Russians, which is very very interesting, is that there's this series Tehran, which actually I need to go back to watch it watching again, and I love that a lot of Iranians claim that Tehran was mistaken with how it portrayed Iran, but then in hindsight now like Tehran was more correct than the people of Iran in the depiction of Iran, because a lot of like I remember reading like specific comments of like, oh, doesn't happen in Iran, that doesn't happen in Iran, the regime is not that brutal, the regime, like people said it, and then in the after like they failed the test of time, and a series made by Israelis about Iran withstood the test of time, like this, which is insane, with portraying like the people, like a lot of stuff. I mean, I didn't read the whole thing, but I didn't watch the whole thing, but it just, there were very particular things that they said, like no, the regime is not that like that, and then guess who was right? Because I also remember that, like, I even speaking to Iranians before October 7th, and I said that, like, what I thought about the Iranian regime, the Iranians actually argued with me, saying, like, it's not that bad, blah, blah, blah. And now they're like, guess what? the foreigner knew better. But, like, not always true, but, you know. So the thing is that there are a lot of similarities between the Russian USSR regime and Iranian one, and this is why, like, a lot of Israelis had a little bit more insight to the development of those regimes and what happens with time and like how they behave. But there is one thing that the series portrayed perfectly, which is to show exactly where the Iranians are different from the Russians. And I'm telling you, like the Iranians, you can see throughout the series and in general, like they never lost hope. Like they never, like the Iranians, like the way I describe it to my mom, here is how I say it, I understood it, maybe it's a simplification. The Russians would drag people out of their homes at night and send them to the Gulag. And I told, here's what I think about Iranians. I think the Iranians, a lot of them, wouldn't even reach the Gulag without shouting and fighting back and basically not even being able to get there alive, which is incredible. Which means that the Iranian regime could have never been as strong as the Russian one, because the Russians would quietly go, and the Iranians were not quiet. They were never quiet. They always tried fighting, and there was the demonstration. The Russians wouldn't do it. Like, they don't do it. And not only that, like watching, like, you know, looking at my mom was like looking at the Iranians as like, because there are like clashing points between me and my mom about how we understand what the person should be doing or shouldn't be doing. And actually her watching the Iranians, and more like things, not just this series, more stuff, including like a special course that we took together to understand Iran. She looked at them and she said, like, you know, it's like they are different. Like, the Russians would never do that. Like, they go quietly. It looks like the Iranians don't go quietly, they keep fighting. The Russians they just die quietly. They don't care. They don't like they are passive. They are they are demoralized to their core and cold. And the Iranians are warm, and they never lost their warmth and passion, and their willingness to fight. That's what this is the impression I grab. So people who are saying the Russians were fighting. So just for the record, my family, I have a lot of family members who were anti-regime activists, and they did a lot of things. Okay, but doing things behind the scenes, the way they did it, it's not the same. And it's also it's not the Iranian people and the Russian people. There are similarities. There are a lot of similarities, and you can see a lot of similarities. Not only that, there is also you know how there are TikTok reels and stuff like that. So there are a lot of videos about things that Soviet moms tell you in Hebrew. And then the Persians are like, wow, the Soviet moms and the Persian moms sound the same. And it so you can hear it now that we have all those reels comparing cultures, there are a lot of similarities in mentality between Russians and Persians. There is, but there are things, but it's very interesting to see where they are not similar, and that is especially how they don't look demoralized. The Russians are just dead inside. They're dead. And Iranians are alive. They're living people. That's the most brutal way I can put it. The most straightforward, brutal way I can put it. And I'm not talking about Jews. It's I've been to Russia, okay? And most of the Iranians I'm in touch with are not Jewish Iranians, so. Yeah, Russians are sun deprived. I think so too, 100%. There is vitamin D deficiency is really very demoralizing. You replace a D with a D instead of the D that you need. You get demoralization. Guess it makes sense. Yeah. So, but the other thing about differences between Russia and Iran is that I don't know. So the way my family survived in a huge city of 4 million people is by going to the forest and by picking up berries and hunting and picking up mushrooms and actually having those prepared for the winter, surviving the winter, which I feel it's not something Iranians could do. I don't feel every Iranian city of 4 million people would actually have the ability to go to the forest and get their food from there. And water, and fish or whatever, which Russians can, because they are. It's very different. And even though the communists did a lot to ruin the nature in Russia as well, they also did they had a lot of environmental catastrophes that they orchestrated. So Oh, so I'm saying important can't. If Jewish people can survive everything that they went through over history, we can learn a thing or two. Okay, so you guys, can I share something with you then? Now that you said it, I think I'll share something with you. Um, I want to share with you something. So, download. No, make sure I have this. Okay. So this is an extra. This is extra. This is bonus content. This is a little bit of a spoiler, since you said there is something to learn from the Jews. So I made this like idea, which is, I'll share with 1 second. It's a photo. I didn't plan to share it with you, but my guess is that by now nobody is gonna actually reach this part when watching live, like rewatching it, and whoever stayed that late is probably somebody like that I can share it with, just as my assumption. Okay, so you can't, so it's pretty, okay, so it's big. What do I do? Okay, let me do something different. Let me bring myself back, and I'll make it make sense, okay? Let me make it make sense. Okay. Okay. I think this makes more sense, right? All right. So this is like this is like primitive, okay? It's just, it's a little bit of a spoiler, but it's like an idea. So the goal is to have like a show where where this thing, the goal is to show the world how Israel does stuff, okay? So have like a non-Jew, non-Israeli person that knows nothing about Judaism, ideally, didn't grow up around Jews, ideally, knows nothing basically, and an Israeli, not a diaspora Jew. For some reason, diaspora Jews took over the entire Hasbara field, and I absolutely, it's not genuine, it's not real, okay? They don't actually know a lot of things. They are out, like it's not that they don't deserve respect or something. It's just that they are a little bit outsiders. And so the idea is to demystify Israel and how we do things, and show, like, make it fun and make it funny and make it like humorous and brutally honest and politically incorrect, and bring different stories and aspects of Israeli society to showcase how Israel actually managed to deal with certain challenges, like birth rates, for example, and like people joining the army, right? And identity and innovation. So you have this video by, I think, where do I have it? Like Elon Musk talking about how Israel is number one in innovation. So the goal is to actually make segments where it's actually brought from theory to tools that you can use at home yourself. Like you yourself can be more innovative, more creative, how to start things, how to build things. And I know it's different depending on where you are. But basically the goal is, instead of being average and doing what Thomas Sowell said, which is failing, Instead of that, what about we try to lift everyone up? So that's the idea. Kinda curious to see what you guys think. But you all talk about Ukraine and Russia for some reason, and Slavics. Right, so water, Cape Town. Well, I think there is a lot to explore here, and I just feel like it's something that it needs to be done, honestly. Like to me, at some point, you know, guys, how I worked on like also questions, how Jews question, how Israelis question, like all these methods of curiosity, of all those things. I just think it's something that needs to be made approachable and made and down to earth. And I truly believe it's very critical that we would have somebody that would, like, first of all, like make it fun, but also be the one to ask the questions that Israelis don't know to ask, and the Jews also don't know to ask, because the Jews. The funny thing, what I think, why I want an Israeli, and which is very likely to be me, even though I'm not. Like I need will test it because I want it to be proper, if I fit or not. I can understand if somebody would do better, but yes, like mental fortitude. Also, I want things about security, like kitot konanut, like how villages protect themselves. How and volunteering, there is a huge volunteering culture in Israel, and there how do people take initiative? How I think there is a lot to learn, and I think there is a lot which is it feels like, how do I do this? And if you don't grow up in an environment that allows you to do so, and you don't know what, like, because it's very much day-to-day life. It's like, for example, when I can tell you two stories, okay? Speaking of given, like, being the approach to children, to babies, is that, for example, when I have two sisters, and they are, one is 10 years younger than me, the other one is 8 years younger than me. Which means that when I would go to kindergarten and pick them up to take them home, I was very young looking, but it's not like people there knew if I could be their mother or not. So I remember them assuming, saying, oh, you're their mother, and being very nice to me and very accepting, and I didn't feel like I felt like it was the most obvious thing and the most normal thing, I'd be their mom. And I look at them, I was like, but I couldn't, technically I couldn't not have, I was it was biologically impossible for me to. And all they said to me, you're their sister or mother, it doesn't matter, you are welcome, it doesn't matter, it's nice, children are a blessing. That's what I was told. And I was a child, so I was like, how can you think I'm old enough to have a baby? I can't even biologically give birth at 10 years old, that's impossible. But I was a child, okay. But in retrospect, I understand what it was. It was them making sure that a baby is a blessing no matter what. And that is the mindset. And it's a secular society that I grew up in, not religious at all, nothing. Made sure to make me feel like if I were their mother, it would have been a complete non-issue. Complete non-issue. Absolutely, 100%, how beautiful, babies are great. Even to an extent, if they thought, if I was yes, I am, they would be how can we help you? But I'm sure they would say it in a way where I wouldn't even, it wouldn't even be oh, you probably need help. I'm sure, they were very sophisticated in their language, which I now, in hindsight, really very much appreciate. And on the other hand, I can tell you that when I was born in Russia. The economy collapsed. We barely survived, but my mother got pregnant again with my brother, and so when she went to the hospital and for checkups, the doctor just pulled the the scheduler and was like, okay, so when is the abortion? And my mom like, what about, like, I don't want to abort the baby. It just like the was like, what do you mean? You want to like, you just had baby? Like, what are you crazy? Like that the immediate like, okay, when is the abortion? And also like this other thing, when my mom gave birth here, she said like, everybody is celebrating every single child that is being born. No matter the circumstances, they say, congratulations. It takes more than one person. Like people say, oh, we need to fight abortions. Guess what? Abortions are very possible in Israel. There is a different war to fight here. And by the way, like, don't think that Israeli society is not affected by the world either. So, you know, even in Israel, we constantly need to fight to keep certain cultural elements from disappearing. So you're saying you know, it's a very interesting balance, okay? And I think in general it works because it's very important to make sure that the baby feels like a blessing and not like a curse. So Israel is surrounded by people who hate the Jewish people. How do you live with stress and gender of it? Definitely 100% something to explore in a show like that. And make it funny, and make it like approachable. Like there are a lot of things I feel like Israeli society does, which they don't understand even how out of the ordinary it is. From the like, how can we be so conservative and give birth to babies, and it's at the same time being like so, like never being so so stressed about abortions. Like, how does it work, you know? And this is my experience of like, there are a lot of cultural gaps, and 100% like when you do something like that, you allow others to ask us to make content to actually answer questions, and things need to be explained, you know? Like how to be proactive, not reactive. Like, I think there are a lot of things that we can, like, that there needs to be this, you know, you guys know from me working with you, like just me understanding that only Jews ask what changed and not what it whether or not something is true when with new information, and how different the result of just that is in real life, how it translates, like, really blew my mind. But the thing is that it needs to be entertaining first. It needs to be funny, approachable, but at the same time finally answer those questions, you know, which Israelis don't know even that this question exists. What? Now you guys arguing whether it's no about it. Like, listen, in the end of the day, you can say, okay, Israelis had a lot of abortions, so there could have been a lot more babies. But you know what? It's the only Western country that also has babies. You know, it's like you need to be able to balance things out. Like this lack of balance in Western language, it's like it's either this or that. No abortions at all, or like one of the reasons is a lot of the abortions in Israel are due to reasons that here's a different way to look at abortions. A lot of abortions that are approved in Israel are approved under the calculation that actually sometimes it would allow to birth more children down the road because of mental risk, like of a health risk, because of things like because of age. In the end of the day, it's also like sometimes even if you give birth too young, most of the time they cannot give birth again. You know that a lot of times, if the mother is too young, it's gonna be the last baby. There's not gonna be more. And those things are also taken into account. So it's, and also like what would be great about having a child if the child would turn into someone that like an Amalek, the way that the Jewish Talmud describes. So I like it needs to be like in the end of so there in reality in the end of the day, Israel is the only country in the OECD that has a birth rate above a replacement rate, even among the most secular Jews. So whether or not, if it's more important to you to criticize and nitpick than to see what you can learn, even though, yes, Israel is 100% not perfect, but you guess what? Being reasonable is better than failing. It's like, it's one of the things, it's like, by the way, one of the things that must be talked about that I can read is what Mansour, for example, brought up when he talked about German culture. And he asked, why is there not an innovation in Germany as much as it could? And he said, because there is the system the system is a 0 or 1, and failure is unaccepted, and there is no tolerance for failure, and because of that, people don't do it at all. Is abortion a war on a woman? I think the entire framing of the discussion is not for now. Anyway, let's not dive into it. This is what the series needs to be about, okay? And this is why, for your questions, there needs to be somebody who would be able to ask that, right? Because, you can, the Israelis and Jews, they would bring, a lot of information. For example, I can tell you, there were a lot of Jewish women that were raped by the Nazis or raped by Arabs. And it's very easy for Jews to understand that, conceptually understand how critical it is to make sure that you save the soul of a woman more than a child born in these circumstances. Because of a lot of long life experience of saying, okay, these people are lost. These kids, they may be born, but for the most part, their lives are lost, even if they are technically alive. So should Israel sent a lot of abortion kits to the Druze in Sweden because of what the jihadists did to the woman there. Was it a mistake? Do you think that these men deserve their sperm and their genes to be passed on? I personally don't think their genes should be passed on at all. There are people who don't deserve to have their genes carry on, which is why some people decided not to give birth to enter lines because of their histories. So, but I know that if it's just Jews and Israelis talking about this theme, it would completely miss the mark when it comes to, because they would bring a lot of knowledge, a lot of things, a lot of sources that come from Jewish history, which the Jews would just say half a sentence, would be like, yes, of course, there's also this element, without explaining the element properly, because it's obvious to them, and it's enough said, while the non-Jews might not understand it. So it's like the so it's so like it's so, I believe it's so important, okay, to accept reality. In reality, it's also very important for Israel itself, because if Israel stops doing what it did to this until now, when it comes to childbirth, they also gonna stop having children, right? Because we are also part of the world, and Israelis also get stupid mind viruses from the rest of the world, and they also are like, oh, let's not get married, let's not let's date around. Like, Israelis do that, and it's getting worse. So it's not just for to show what made Israel so different until now, when it comes to how can it be that it's the last place which is both financially successful and gives birth on earth, and to make sure that we don't stop being what we are. Okay? So there is a lot of, I believe it's important for both Israel to stay and appreciate and understand what made it what it is, what made it survive against all odds. And it's also important to there is this song, the best way to help yourself is sometimes to help someone else. And right now, what happens is that Israel helps a lot other countries behind the scenes, but of course the politicians would never credit Israel for anything. Israel does, so it gets nothing out of it. So it gets screwed for trying to help other countries out, because the other countries get what they want for free, and they have no moral clarity to not screw Israel. Which that element would be taken away if Israel communicates directly to the people, and not goes through governments that take and delete the credit away with no, like if it's directly from us, we keep the credit, right? It's like, that's another thing. It's like it's so important. Like, Israelis need to say what they do, explain, show, help, not through the crooked Western elites and others who would inherit and kill afterwards. But actually be like, here's the thing. And not only that, but because the elites, they make sure that it serves whoever they feel like serving, which is usually not the people. So if we give those tools directly to the people, Russia is helping IRGC. How can many Israelis support Russia? Israelis don't support Russia. I don't know a lot of Israelis who support Russia, but the thing is that it's more because Russia and Turkey. That's like the thing is, like, as far as Israel is concerned, like it's complicated. But we're not supporting Russia, but at the same time, Turkey is a huge issue. So anyway, and also, like, the other thing that I also, by making it like content online, a lot of times the Jews also help the wrong people, the people who didn't deserve it. So I believe that instead of helping people that don't deserve it by making it public and available for everyone, You give the tools, you give the structure, you give what it needs to be gifted, and help others, especially the people, the private people, citizens, right? But then it wouldn't be like, if it's like, believe me, like, I want to punch so many Jews who thought that it makes sense to help Muslims because they are minorities. In fact, I kind of want them get more than punched, but that's another thing. So if it's out and everybody can, then the Jews also don't make a mistake of siding with the wrong side, because many of them are stupid idiots. So this is why I'm saying, like, why. No, like, Russia sucks, but Ukraine is not great either, And besides, we have enough local region problems. So, so there is the thing, like, sometimes, like, it's okay to not have an opinion. Like, it's also an option. And you want to lift the people up, you lift the people up. And the thing is, like, when you expose, like, the mechanism, then you build a healthy infrastructure. Whoever applies it, they're gonna be better people. That's it. Like, you don't do it. You don't offer your services. You give the tools, and the people who choose to do something proper with the tools, they are usually people who, statistically, right, it gives a better chances than when Israel just gives services, or whatever, Jews give services, because then 100% of the time it's like you mistake. The only time I can tell you for sure, like, the Druze is not mistake. So this is why, like, it's the first time in history when the Jews are like, you know what, like, I'm pretty sure, like, after 80 years of living together, fighting together, dying together, for once we can say, like, okay. But every other time, the nothing good came out of it, believe me. And also, it was behind the scenes in a way that, you never get any thank you. So make it public. That's what I think. All right. Any questions? And let's be honest, right? There is nothing in this, like, why do the version, like, the fact, the way that Israel maintains birth rates is the most feministic way possible, like, because Jewish women are strong women, Israeli women are strong, like, nobody's gonna doubt it that they're not independent, strong women when you see reality. Just put a camera randomly anywhere in Jerusalem and you're gonna see dads walking around with strollers and babies everywhere around. And it's like, it's like there is that's the thing, like. And so if you want to apply the Israeli method, you'd have to treat women with respect, treat minorities with respect, care about your community, help others. And those are all good things and habits to have, which when you give people services and solutions instead of tools, they don't learn those elements. So that's what I'm thinking that would help. And I want to hear your feedback, and also how do you think it might be possible to make it happen? Who would want to host it, support it, if you know anyone? You know, I want to do it properly. I don't want to be like, you know, Rebecca sitting with technical issues, editing all day. I'm like, there are things I'm good at, things I'm not good at. That's the way it is, and therefore, I want to make sure that like everybody does what they're good at. If you do something properly, that I truly believe is needed, right? And this thing, right? The questioning project that I did, the different elements that I thought, like, in the end of the day, I realized that the gap. Somebody says, Rebecca, is it possible for a man to respect women too much? I don't think this, like, can women respect men too much? I mean, depends how you define too much respect. So anyway, I do want to do it properly with, you know, to make sure that the message lands, that everything's done. And I think it's needed, especially like, you know, the question project that I have, like, you know, you guys, talking to you guys, trying to make you do things, but then I realized like there is too much of I would need to explain. And if I just do it through the media, then that would be easier. But at the same time, I understand like there needs to be a bridge between my very specific culture type of communication, plus like I have technical understanding, but still like and like the elements of entertainment, make it digestible, make it easy, make it like just I think that the most important thing is that because it's long, every subject, whatever we choose, would have different angles, and Carlos Rodriguez, thank you so much for your support. I'll take care of the tea. I know I need the tea. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry that this weekend and today was crazy. So anyway, okay. So the thing is like this is, if I just sit down and explain a topic at a time, it's a lot of different angles, and it's long. But if you do it by segments, if you do it like by approaching and showing differently, then you can keep the attention, you can keep in context, you can demonstrate everything and have it entertaining at the same time. Which is why like an hour of podcast and an hour of late night show doesn't feel the same, right? In a like it's one is it just one is like it's not the same. And I think to make it more approachable, and not just like two intellectuals sit down and talk, which it has an audience, but the problem with intellectuals, and I'm gonna share it with you all, is that they like talking. A lot of times they don't actually need to apply anything. They don't need it to be practical tools. In fact, like they have a lot of interests to actually not deliver the information people need. That's what I think. Welcome. Thank you so much, Govan, for gifting a membership in. Welcome, new member. Thank you. But the other thing, right? Like, so I don't want it to be just me. I want it to be multiple hosts. I actually want me to be the only Israeli and the only Jew, and the only person who has any kind of experience with our culture. That's what I think. So this is where I'm at right now. Let me know what you think. I'm telling you, I'm trying to navigate uncharted water. And Govan gifted himself a membership. That's funny. So that's what I think. Like, here's the thing. Like, for example, um, who do you think can take a segment? Like actual influencers that you think can do it. Like, this is something. Who should I talk to? Like you can. I really am waiting for your recommendations. Even people who you think would understand the mission and want to join and make it happen. Like drop names, in the, because I've been thinking a lot, like who can do that, and so drop names. That's the one thing you can do. And it's like, hey, check out, you know, things like that. So, and by the way, don't expect it anytime soon. It's a lot of work. Yeah, I know Tal Oran is good, but he is I know, like, he doesn't fit either descriptions. He's a diaspora Jew. I'm sorry, he is. You know, because no Israeli would call them, like, would mention their skin color so much. It's an American thing, and I don't want it. I don't want this. I'm sorry. Like, Tal Oran, I love him, but anyone who adopts the DEI framework, I don't want them, not in this show. And so she's Israel. So he knows a lot. He understands a lot about Israel, but he is. I when I said like Israeli, and I meant one of the things is like no diaspora Jews. No diaspora Jews. And it's okay. And he's super successful and he's great. But I cannot, like, one of the biggest things is like we cannot have diaspora Jews continue to speak for us. So no diaspora Jews, no. And and if diaspora Jews, it's just like, you know, for a small segment. And nobody who in their framework and the way they speak they have like I don't want that. I want it to be genuine, honest. And the other thing is, I mean, I understand a lot of Israelis are also influenced by the American Jews narrative and stuff, but I mean, it's not for this show, okay? That was very specific, Israeli. Like, for the record, Mansour Eshkar could take this job. He is 100% Israeli. He's not Jewish, but he fits this, like, he is Israeli. And he can, I think he can have a job there. And he didn't take upon him any DEI, nothing. So, he I think he, for example, could be like an interesting thing. But I do think it needs to be like a Jew Israeli, but I think Mansour Eshkar definitely could have. Ami Kozak is not Israeli. Ami Kozak, Tal Oran, not Israeli. They're too American. Like, because I'm tired. Like, the thing is, like, if you want to give practical tools, you cannot do it with people who would have an opinion but zero understanding, or are not pure in their tool building. Sorry. So no, definitely nobody that goes around and like, oh, I'm brown. No. Okay, no. Like, he's not even saying I'm a Mizrahi, which is like if you want to have this discussion, that would be how Israelis would frame it. So I think Mansour, you're saying Sacha Baron Cohen is a diaspora Jew. Corey Gil Schuster, diaspora Jew. Moshe Feiglin, possible. Ishai diaspora Jew. If you talk about the Ishai Fleischer, he's a diaspora Jew. I'm not. When I say no diaspora Jews, I 100% mean it. No diaspora Jews, and there is a reason I say it. There is a real reason I say it, which I don't feel like going into too much right now, but there is a real reason I say it. Tal Oran is not fitting. I'm sorry. I love Tal Oran. I love him. Meira Kay, diaspora Jew. No. No diaspora Jews. The thing is that you don't even understand how much our narrative is being twisted by the fact that we are only represented by diaspora Jews. Like Israelis hate Hasbara because diaspora Jews don't represent Israelis. They don't. Okay, and no matter how much they are well-intentioned, it's a different culture. And Israelis deserve to be represented genuinely. And when it comes to talking about things that Israelis do, diaspora Jews, like, Tal Oran didn't even serve in the army. He like, Mansour served in the army. I served in the army. Tal Oran did not serve in the army. I mean, it's like we need to know how, like, it's time to stop, because Israelis deserve representation that is genuine, and the American Jews are gonna distort all the lessons, not because they are wrong, but because they don't know how the mechanisms. So Gadi Taub, yes. Oran, the travel, like the tour guide, yes, he could do, 100%. The thing is, right, a lot of things that, like, if there is gonna be something that is like more international, because Israelis have Judaism that is connected to the land, and that is something that is, they don't have an identity crisis. They don't have, because Jews in diaspora are suffering from identity crisis. And I don't want to show like, I want this show to be like healthy, to be like useful, right? Not to be like, something that people who are, people cannot, like, I want a Brit that is from working class to be able to see themselves, because once you have several, like, citizenship, once you have a confused identity, like, I'm sorry, it's not native. So, but my other question is like, Gal Gadot is stupid. I love her, but she's stupid. No. Like, and another thing, right? The Israelis, like, it's not, okay, don't forget that the goal is also to have people who can actually show the infrastructure and actually have the ability to understand the difference between cultures, and that means that some Israelis don't have this. They're too stupid for it. Not all Israelis are smart, okay? A lot of Israelis will not even understand what the show is about. So, Gal Gadot couldn't even translate what's the meaning of her hometown to English. I'm sorry. Like, no, sorry. She's a cutie, but it's useless. Like, not that way. I want to, like, push any like, here's the thing. We're gonna interview a lot of stupid Israelis in the show. For like, as a guest, they're gonna see a lot of stupid Israelis, because you need to show what's in the ground, right? but you cannot have them in a place where they are actually structuring the show. So I don't want a person who didn't serve in the army. I don't want a person that says like uses DEI. I don't want somebody who goes around like Rudi Rochman and hugs the Arabs after they raped a woman. Like, I don't want these people who don't care about females. I don't want them. I don't want the whores. I don't want the idiots. Like, unless like for a little bit of a, you see, we have those two kind of segment, 100%. That's 100%. Like, we're gonna show like, the real Israelis, and we have Israelis like Rudi Rochman who are whores. 100%. Gal Gadot is great, but I'm sorry, she doesn't have the cultural understanding for, like, and it's important because like we're gonna talk about like you need to have the full Israeli experience. Sorry, full Israeli experience. The goy, the non-Jew, non-Israeli, and ideally doesn't even know anything about us, can. I'm sorry, she's beautiful though. Gal Gadot is very beautiful. And she sang Imagine when coronavirus happened. Like, ew, no, thank you. Like, listen, as a in the spectrum of Israelis, she has a lot of room, right? We're gonna show a lot of different Israelis. It's not what I'm saying. We need people who would know how to translate and see culture. You need a person. You need the Israelis. The Israelis need to be able to translate cultural elements into tools, practical tools. But the thing is that between these segments, there needs to be help. Corey Gill Schuster is a diaspora Jew that is absolutely disgustingly diaspora Jew. Absolutely no. I mean, he has the advantage of him going around and asking Palestinians questions, but he asked them enough questions for us to get the gist, okay? Corey is like the worst type of diaspora Jew. Absolutely not. Ugh. You guys are not helping. Forget about Israelis and not more Jews. Who can help in the non? So Arif is one. Arif is probably we're gonna have a segment with him, but this is gonna be communicated more towards the Indian. Like we'll see like how we're gonna do it. There is nothing wrong with Gal Gadot. You know what? We can put her and she can read text. It's fine. She can read text. But, like we can hire whatever model that can read decently well. That's like down the line. So absolutely not that. We don't. If you guys need a model that would read text in front of you, she doesn't have to have a brain. But, but it's not for now, for sure. The bigger challenge is to find the non-Jewish, non-Israeli. So focus on that, okay? Besides, I'm an Israeli, okay? I know enough Israelis. And I can also tell you that Israelis are tired of non-diaspora Jews speaking for us. I know maybe to an outside audience it sounds like it doesn't matter, but for Israelis it's like It's like I would go and move to the United States and then represent America and talk about like America as if I'm like an American. Or like I would speak as of the like okay, here as I explain. I cannot explain to you the American Jewish community. They have a different culture. Even if I know them very well, even if I interact with them day and night, even if like I've seen them, I've lived among them, I'm not an American Jew. I cannot represent them. And not only that, I have different interests than they do. It's like exactly, most Israelis don't care about what the world thinks of us. You know why that is? Because Israelis can use the army if anyone annoys me. It's like, oh, are you Israeli? Do you believe Israel has the right to exist? And Israeli would say, okay, you think we don't have the right to exist? Come. Try to take the country away. Let's take care of that. You know, it's different. But an American cares because they miss it. They encounter that, and they have that mind frame where they care because they want to go to Harvard and have a comfortable life. And in order to do so, they are willing to throw Israel under the bus. And Israelis are now also willing to throw the American Jews under the bus because of the amount of times the American Jews threw us under the bus just for their comfort in Harvard. They do it in a lot of many different ways, believe me. And it's the same with the Israelis in the academia. The intellectual Israelis are doing the same thing, right? Yuval Noah Harari. In order to have to be invited to Harvard, just like any other American Jew, they throw Israel under the bus. And this is the people who represent us. Most Israelis do not go to Harvard University, and they are not part of this academia club. It's like you know, and therefore like and then you know, when the American Jews take over the world of communicating with outside of Israel, then Israelis look at it and they say, this is they see it, they hate it, and they don't want to be involved with it. Because that's the like if I were to represent American Jews, believe me, I wouldn't like, I'd be like not representing them. No matter how much I know them. I know their plus minuses. I know that what they're better at than Israelis. I know what they're worse, but they're not Israelis. And I'm not American Jew. I don't want Israelis. I know enough Israelis. Think about the non-Israeli, non-Jew. That's the challenge. You say you believe Israel has the right to exist, but are not immune to criticism, like all. Yeah, here's the thing: Israelis don't give a fuck. We don't ask you whether we have the right to exist or not. Our entire neighborhood tries to kill us. You're just one of many. Like, you know, if you don't believe we don't care. We fundamentally don't care. The only thing we care about is that we can do business and and we can go have travel and tourism. And you know, and mostly like and there are different ways to approach it, but we don't. But the American Jews are not. They're not speaking for us. So think about like. It's like, you know, the only thing Israelis want. You can hate Jews as much as you want. Yeah, like don't believe in Israel. We don't care. Like Israelis don't care for a good reason. The only thing they care about is that you know, Israelis have enough of a business to offer, and as far as we are concerned, if you buy oil and gas from Russia, like sanctions on Russia, like Europe has sanctions on Russia, while they continue buying gas, right? And you buy buy oil from people who are basically the worst of the worst. No problem. We can be in the same category. Just do business, and when we travel to your countries, respect us. That's it. That's what Israelis care for. And it's like, like when you meet the average Arab that comes to the sheikh that comes and do business in England, he probably is not the best person in the world, but he doesn't get like attacked. So it's okay. This is what we want. That's it. So, and therefore, the only thing we want is to make sure that the people who want to do business, who are not stupid, who don't have suicidal empathy, can do it. That's it. This is why our interest as Israelis is to lift people up so that they can protect themselves from Islamists. Because you cannot do business with Islamists, not because you don't want to, but because they are inbred and too retarded to do anything that is productive. If it was possible, then we wouldn't have cared. Very, very simple. See? It's like, just stop the inbreeding. We cannot do business with people who are so retarded. And you can, there is nothing to do. Like, all we want to do is business, tourism, and that's it. No love, no need. Nobody needs to, we can be the worst, but it's not your business. Know what's good for you. We know what's good for us. Whatever you are doing with yourself is just screwing yourself up. And being inbred and dropping your IQ just makes you an animal. Okay, that's it. That's where we are. This is important. Okay, so it's also important to make sure that there is a platform that represents Israelis, not American Jews or British Jews or any type of diaspora Jews, which Israelis often don't like. Okay? So that's it. I'm not interested. No, I've never been to Denmark. You're saying. Okay, guys, I can't. Can you write it in the comments when the stream ends? And write the non-Israeli guys, non-Israeli, non-Jews that you think would be interesting to work with. Okay? That would find it interesting potentially. That's the biggest challenge. So that's the thing. Okay, and if I see another diaspora join the comments, I'll be offended. Ben Shapiro is an American, and only American. He's not pro-Israel. He thinks he is, believe me, but he's not. And you can tell that because he doesn't care at all about what we care. For example, when the Druze were getting slaughtered in Syria, he didn't mention it. He doesn't care for it. He doesn't care about, So I'm sorry, this is something Israelis care about. So he's not an Israeli. He doesn't represent, he doesn't speak for us. He's an American Jew. And he has enough, of understanding that, there is nothing moral about killing all the Jews in Israel. So no, I don't want to see American Jews. Ben Shapiro, no. No American Jews. No, we are tired. And here's the thing, until you spell it out the way I just spelled it out, Israelis would not tell you, oh yes, they would just say, yeah, they're nice. But if you spell it out to them, Israelis are like, yeah, we can, it's true. I don't care if they're a pro-Israeli. I don't need pro-Israelis. I don't want pro-Israelis. I want pro-humanity. pro humanity, yeah, pro life. No, I don't need them to support Israel. I want, like, that's like, I want them to support their, like, own community and believe that there is something that they can learn from Israel, to make sure that, like, the Muslim Brotherhood, for example, doesn't take over their neighborhood or something. Shapiro is absolutely out of question. No American, no Jews, no diaspora Jews, zero. Two options: one Israeli who served in the army, or not Israeli, not a Jew. And also not married to a Jew. Not married to a Jew, not a Jew, not Israeli, okay? That's the other side. But you guys have such random comments. Fine, they can be married to a Jew, fine, they can be married to a Jew. Also, like, okay, like, as far as removed as possible, the better. After that, it's compromise. Yeah, that part is hard. Okay, you guys, just write it in the comments. I'm gonna end the live stream right now. And also, like, just, and by the way, like, everything I'm saying, like, it's just brainstorming with you. And also, don't pass on what I said about diaspora Jews. I'd rather tell them myself to their face. All right.